AL West. Hi.
We can be quick on that one, I think.
Yeah, right? Like, who's your daddy? Oh wait, well, you can't see my sweatshirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we all know. We all know.
Hey,
Shout out to
tip of the cap to the Mariners, though. They're doing good things. Respect what they're building. But
So,
they ain't the
Aram,
Astros.
fun fact, I don't know if you've listened to us before, but one of my sneaky secrets is the Mariners is my second favorite team, right? So,
hey, you know what? I respect that. It sucks that they're in the same division. They're a really likable team. They really are. I know they're supposed to be rivals, but like that's a fun ball club. I don't blame you for that one.
it's
not even a rivalry. They're like the little brother. Let's be real.
I have the Mariners gear. I do. I think I actually wore the pod one day.
I don't blame you for that. I don't. If it gets close and they're duking it out at the end of the year for the division, you might need to cool it on them a little bit. But right now you can
I'll cool a little bit.
You can embrace the little brother role.
No, I don't blame you. The Mariners are like they're going to be a very respectable second place in the AL West.
Yep.
Like there's no ifs, ands, buts about it, right? Like Angels are making moves. Rangers also making moves.
Just not there yet.
I mean, until you get a bullpen Rangers, I'm sorry, you can just leave the conversation. Just exit yourselves.
What about Oakland?
Okay, so the Oakland A's are our daddy. Okay, like there's no ifs, ands, buts about that. I don't understand why. I don't understand it. I don't understand how the Athletics swept us this season, but the A's are the Astros daddies, and that's okay because they're nobody else's daddy. They will only sweep us, and that's okay because we'll still win the AL West. So, NL East.
No, I was ready for that one to be last because that's going to be
okay, fine. We can go to NL Central because we all know who's going to win the NL Central.
Cardinals, yeah, no
Cards,
brainer.
yeah. I mean, the Brewers are gonna give them a run for their money, right? Like, but it's gonna be the Cardinals. Yep. I mean, sneakily the Pirates are getting some moves and doing some stuff, and
yeah, I don't know if 43-year-old Rich Hill's putting them over the top. The Cardinals won the division. Add Wilson Contreras, have arguably one of the best prospects in baseball ready to come up in Jordan Walker, some other pitchers that I think are very interesting as well. Tyler O'Neill was hurt the whole year. I think they're going to be I think they might win 100 games next year. I really do, especially with the Pirates. Still, I think they're making good moves. Still going to be, a bad team next year. The Reds still very far away. Cubs better, not great. Brewers, they kind of are what they are.
Yeah. So, do you want to do the NL West then, since we're saving NL East? I guess that's the only option that we have. NL West, Shelby, who we got?
Going to be the Dodgers again. I mean, the Dodgers are the Lakers of the MLB. They're the Lakers of the MLB. They build a super team, but I mean, they're going to win the division every year.
Padres are doing their best. I think they've made some great moves, but the pitching's just not there. I think they've done some good things. The pitching's good, but the Dodgers could roll out 7 or 8 different arms, that I think are going to be really good. And talk about a team that has a million prospects that could come up and make an impact as well. They didn't even have Dustin May like the entire year last year. He is incredible. They're an absolute force. I don't see how anybody catches them.
So I picked the Padres. I think the Padres are going to do it. I think they've tasted the victory, and they have the rally goose, and I think the Padres do it. Especially if they have the grandpa singing again. How do you lose with that? Like I don't know.
You said the goose, and I shook my head, and it's literally because it's stupid ass songs in my head. God,
the Padres grandpas, they'll do it for you. They'll do it for you. Those are the bars that I'm going to draw.
And Manny gonna cruise. Terrible.
But I have an asterisk. Though. Like, look, I have the asterisk by the D-backs. Do you see the D-backs? Okay. Like, if they could just somehow get rid of Madison Bumgarner, like, just I don't know how or why, or just if Madison Bumgarner can just like be shot up into a rocket somewhere, I think the D-backs could sneakily give people runs for their monies. Because we know the Giants and the Rockies are not going to do anything. Unfortunately. But, so NL East. NL East, who you got? Shelby?
I don't want to go first.
Aram?
This is a tough one. I think a lot of the three, it's a 3-horse race, right?
Right.
You got 3 teams that legitimately have a shot to make some noise here. Phillies, who, reigning, National League champs. And then you got the Braves, who won the World Series very recently and added one of the best catchers in the game in Sean Murphy. And then the Mets, who, with or without Carlos Correa, that's a big if, though, but with or without Carlos Correa, are still an absolute force.
Yeah.
This is a really, really, really tough one. I'm struggling on this one, to be honest. Like, I literally said, like, I'm gonna go into it. When you're like at the restaurant and you can't decide what you want to eat, you just kind of wait till the waiter gets there and you just panic order. Like that's kind of,
or you see like what everybody else at the table orders and you're like, okay, I'm gonna.
And you just panic order.
All right, I'm 3 beers in. You want me to just break the news? Can we break it?
Yeah, break the news. Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go with the Braves. They're gonna have Ronald Acuna back. Ozzie Albies back. Spencer.
You trust Ron Grissom at short? You trust Ron Grissom at short?
That's the one scary part.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Braves.
Okay. So do you want to? Here's my reasoning. Here's my logic. Okay. If the Mets sign Carlos Correa, it's the Mets. If that deal falls apart somehow, and Carlos Correa is not at third, it's the Braves. That is what I was going with. I think, like Aram said, I think it is a 3-horse race. But I don't trust the Phillies rotation at all. That when I was going through all of these, I was writing down the starting rotations and I could not for the life of me remember who their 5th starter was. And I had to look it up and I was like, who in the fuck is their 5th starter? And then I was like, Bailey Falter, what? So no, yeah. I don't trust the Phillies rotation. So if
I was just say the good news for the Phillies is they have one of my favorite pitching prospects in Andrew Painter, hopefully coming up at early in the year. Which
will he take Bailey Falter's spot, Aram?
Yes, and if he does that, if he's ready and they call him up, he is. I think you legitimately you can make the case he's the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball.
Okay.
But that's you can't count on prospects. Right. I'm going to go with the Mets because. Of course, if they have Correa, then I can more confidently say the Mets. But I'm going to go with the Mets because what they're building with this rotation is pretty spectacular, right? We saw what they did last year in terms of where they finished, being won 101 games. And remember, yes, they lose DeGrom, but they didn't have DeGrom last year.
Right.
They add Justin Verlander. I don't need to tell you, ladies, how good Justin Verlander is. And if Verlander is on the field, which he looked very healthy last year, right? 175 innings versus whatever, I don't know, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it was what, 70 something innings that they got from DeGrom, maybe less than that, right? You're getting a full season of Verlander that you're now just adding there. I love Kodai Senga. I think he's going to be a dude coming over from Japan. I loved that signing for them. And Jose Quintana, he threw well last year. If that's your 4 or 5, you're in great shape. They keep
I think
Edwin
he's the
Diaz.
4, right? Like I think. Don't get me wrong. I do love me some Cookie Carrasco, but I think Cookie Carrasco is like the 5th.
Yeah, Cookie.
Right? Like that's
great
the weak
5.
link.
That's a great 5.
Yeah.
If Cookie Carrasco is your 5th starter, you're in good shape. Bullpen looks good. The lineup. Let's assume on the worst scenario, no Correa. I'm a believer in Brett Beatty. I think I thought he showed some good things.
Do you think Brett Beatty is your starting 3rd baseman?
If they don't sign Correa, I think it's going to be probably Eduardo Escobar with Beatty kind of waiting in the wings. And if he's ready to go, I think they'll give him a shot, really early. He might even get, get that opportunity to split with Escobar, because they don't love Escobar from I believe it's the left side of the plate, looking better from the right side of the plate. So they could end up forming a nice little platoon there. And also Beatty could DH a little bit too. Narvaez, I think, is going to bounce back, be better than James McCann and Thomas Nido. So I think that's a little bit of some help there. This team's won 101 games, and I'd argue they got quite a bit better this year. So it's hard to beat that.
Let me ask you real quick. We're gonna pivot because we can do that on the show. Their bullpen. Okay. So say Edwin Diaz threw 30 pitches the night before, and Edwin Diaz cannot close for the Mets. Who's closing for the Mets? Is it Otto? Is it
Robertson or Ottavino?
Okay.
Robertson had 20 saves last year. I think Ottavino only had 3, but both were really good. I think even Brooks Raley, who they had 6 saves. So
we are jaded. We are jaded on Brooks Raley. Like I cannot confidently put any sort of anything into Brooks Raley because nope.
That's fair. But I think Robertson was pitching high leverage in the playoffs. I think he showed that he can anchor the back end of that bullpen, on days where Diaz isn't available. And Diaz, my gosh, was he?
Okay, so say your starter went 6. Who goes 7, 8, and 9? Build me 7, 8, and 9 if Diaz is not available.
If Diaz is not available?
Not available.
I think it's Drew Smith / Brooks Raley, then Ottavino, then Robertson.
Okay.
Which is good enough, I think.
Okay. I was in some Twitter spaces with Mets fans and asking these questions, and like, can we just enjoy the Basque? And I was like, that's fine. You can enjoy the Carlos Correa. I need to know how you're getting this if Edwin Diaz is not available. And they're like, shut up, Suzy. I'm sorry. I just need to know these things. So, okay. So that is
really quickly. We're talking about the Mets. One of my favorite prospects plays for the Mets organization. Do we see Francisco Alvarez this year?
Yes. I think early too. And that's a beautiful thing. Like now that they have Narvaez, not as much pressure on Alvarez to catch right away. Hey, you got to go catch 2 Hall of Famers and they better enjoy throwing to you. No, he can focus on mashing home runs, which is what he does, and then slowly get acclimated to the catching position as well. So that's another big wild card for them. And it's a great question because he has the potential to be, a 30+ home run guy. And if he can, come up and even be close to that, that's another really good piece to have.
Do you think he DHs on days that he doesn't catch? Or do you think that will go to Vogelbach?
I think he'll split time with Vogelbach, especially if there's a lefty. Dan Vogelbach can't hit lefties. I could see them going to Alvarez in those games. And so he'll split time there, split some time behind the dish. I think he starts in AAA though, but that's a guy that'll be up there, I think, in the first, probably by June, I would expect him.
That was another thing that I was not arguing with people in Twitter spaces, but I was asking questions like, who's your starting day catcher, guys? And they're like, well, it's not going to be James McCann. I'm like, that's fine if it's not James McCann. I was like, but I guarantee you Francisco Alvarez is not your opening day catcher with Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander throwing to him. Like, you may love him, but I guarantee you JV and Max Scherzer not throwing to Francisco Alvarez.
No, in their mind, I think they're happy with Narvaez because he's not McCann. So I think Mets fans are like, anybody's better than McCann, and even a bad Narvaez last year. I think they're happy with him. So I do agree, though. Like, if he struggles, that more pressure on Alvarez.
All right. Where do you want to go next, Shelby? You're on mute.
My next one was facial hair. So
okay.
Pitcher and position player. So my pitcher was Spencer Strider. I feel like, and this was just my gut feeling, that every year Spencer Strider's facial hair is just going to grow, right? And eventually we're going to have like just
the best Fu Manchu ever.
It's going to be great. So, and then my position player. So we talked about this on the podcast a couple episodes ago. I need Alex Bregman to regrow the dad stash. I need it to happen. And if not, it's going to be Matt Chapman.
Funnily enough, I had Matt Chapman as well, because now that he is on the Padres, I feel like his beard can come back, and that ridiculous caterpillar Ned Flanders mustache that he had going on with the Yankees can go away. So Matt Carpenter was my position player. And I
didn't mean Carpenter. I'm sorry.
My starting pitcher was a tie between Dylan Cease and Spencer Strider, who in my head apparently is the same person. So good job, Shelby.
I'm all in on the Nestor Cortez mustache. I think he rocks the hell out of that thing. And then on the position player side,
Can you just randomly text Nestor Cortez, Aram, and tell him that we need him to just grow out the stash?
Just grow it as long as it goes. Just all like the handlebars.
Yes. With the evil twirly guy mustache.
I wouldn't rule anything out with that guy. He loves to have fun.
I could totally see him with a Roddy Finger stash.
Yes.
I think on the position player side, I got to go with good old Charlie Blackmon. That beard is iconic. It can get slept on. I think we become numb. I think we become numb to Charlie Blackmon's beard. And you got to. Yeah, they talk about like the LeBron effect. LeBron being good every single year. We get numb to his greatness. I think we get numb to Charlie Blackmon's beard.
I feel like Charlie Blackmon's beard has an odor.
Oh, I'm sure it does, but I don't need to smell it. Same with Brandon Marsh.
I was just thinking Brandon Marsh.
Yeah. That guy, my God. I was watching old games of it was an Angels-Phillies matchup early in the season when Brandon Marsh was still on the Angels. And that beard and the hair just killed me. Just absolutely killed me. And I was like, Brandon Marsh, you're a weirdo. But congratulations, you fit right in on the Phillies.
Our next category is best bullpen.
Who do you want to start with, Shelby?
Go AL.
Go. AL. Best bullpen? I mean, hi, Homer take. We're going to have to do it. It's the Astros. It's the Astros. We didn't even use some of our really good bullpen. And it was still amazing. And the fact that we don't have an actual left-hander that we use, Will Smith, I'm very sorry that I don't know why we signed you, Will Smith. You just were there. And the fact that we don't need a left-hander just boggles my brain and messes with my mind just a little bit, but it's the Astros in the AL. Sneakily enough, maybe the Guardians. Shh, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like the Guardians bullpen a lot. Class A is special, but Houston just seems like no matter what arm they wheel out there, it's going to be nasty. I'd say number one bullpen's Houston, but if Cleveland, kind of jumps over them just because of how much talent they have in there, it wouldn't shock me. And now that's not an indictment on Houston whatsoever.
Yeah. I think the fact that if Presley goes down and we have three different relievers that legitimately have closer stuff, that there is no worry how we get to 7, 8, 9. Like at any point in time, we can throw, Stanek and Neris and Abreu, or, Montero and we're not throwing Phil Maton out there. I'm very sorry, Phil Maton, but you just pissed me off. You no longer, maybe you're the seventh man. You're the seventh inning man, Phil Maton. So, Maton, Stanek, Montero, like any combination of those, we're fine with. So AL, Astros. In the NL, I got to give it to the Braves. That bullpen is stupid. And I think they have that whole mentality as well, that no matter who pitches what, like, they're not worried.
Yeah.
So those are my picks. Aram, who do you have?
Houston and Atlanta were my picks too, but my number 2 for Atlanta, or the AL, was Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay's sneaky.
I think Tampa Bay is one of those that, like, you never expect because you don't know the names. You're all, I'm sorry, who are you? and they just always end up having arms that you're all, what's happening here? Why are you good? Who are you? We don't know who you are.
And they're good at that, though. Like, that's the crazy part. And every single one of the Rays relievers throws from a different weird arm slot. It's crazy what they build over there. But I would say National League side, Dodgers, they're similar with the way they spawn arms. And then on the American League side, it's got to be the Astros. But I think Cleveland's going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah. Where you want to go next, Shelby?
Best starting rotation.
Okay. Someone else has to go first.
All right. So I'll operate under the presumption that everything goes swimmingly, right? I can't project injuries. If everybody is healthy in that Texas Rangers rotation, that rotation could be the best in baseball, which is crazy to say. I did not think I'd be saying that. But, I mean, we're talking about a group that is headlined by Jacob deGrom, who has been one of the best pitchers in the modern era. And if he can stay healthy, I mean, that already pretty much gives you a top 10 rotation with just how dominant he is every fifth day. I do really think Eovaldi's going to bounce back this year. I thought that was a great signing by them earlier today. I like what they've got brewing over there overall. And if everything goes as planned, you know, I could easily see this group being as good as anyone. Andrew Heaney, statistically speaking, was spectacular when he was on the mound. John Gray, really solid. Martin Perez was a revelation last year. So while that team is up there, I still think I would have said the Astros if they kept JV. I still think it's a top 5 rotation. I really do. I think Hunter Brown's going to plug in really nicely. But you're going to hate me for this one. I think my final answer in the American League side is going to be the New York Yankees.
That's fair. That's fair.
Just 1 through 5. I think each of those guys, 1 through 5, has the potential to be a frontline starter if they're on. And there's not really very many rotations I could say that about. Adding Rodon to that group is silly. Is absolutely silly.
That's fair. That's fair. Shelby?
I also said the Yankees. That's a scary 1 through 5. That's a terrifying 1 through 5.
Yep.
Yeah. So when I was doing my baseball homework, okay, the baseball homework went like this. This was my thought process. Who can I name from that rotation off the top of my head without having to look it up? Right? And 1 through 3, I got on most of the teams. And the 4 and 5, if I got it, I was like, oh shit, that may be my answer. So my Jays, I say my Jays like they're my team. They're not. The Jays, Alek Manoah, Kevin Gausman, and then I was like, who the fuck is their third? So I had Alex Manoah, Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, and Kikuchi. And I was like, well, that's not it. And then I was like, who's the third? Who's the 3? And then I was like, oh, I forgot. They signed Chris Bassett. I was like, I'm sorry. Jays, you can't be the starting. You cannot be it. Okay. And then I was like, Astros. Duh. And then I was like, okay, Frommer, Javi, LMJ, Luis Garcia. Okay. Jose Urquidy, I love you. I love that your wife has a baby pig. I don't know if I trust you as far as I can throw you. Do I kind of want Hunter Brown up there instead of you? Possibly. But in all good consciousness, I cannot say that the Astro starting rotation is strongest. Stronger, not strongest. And then I was like, do I have to give it to the Yankees? I kind of have to give it to the Yankees. Even though I really dislike admitting that. And the whole, because I added Rodon, and that kills me to say. So Cole and Rodon being the 1 and 2, and then Nestor Cortez, and then Luis Severino, when healthy, is filthy. And Frankie Montas, I hope Frankie Montas gets healthy, because he was filthy with the A's. I don't know what happened when he went over to the Yankees. See, they messed with his facial hair. That's what they made him do all that, and like Samson. It fucks everything up. So sorry, Astros fans. Yankees rotation is pretty good, but that's caveat if Montas and Severy are healthy. That's the caveat. I'm not giving any stock into the Rangers, even if they did sign Eovaldi today. That's not because they got. Does Odorizzi go to the pen? Does John Gray go to the pen? Who goes to the pen? Or are they running a 6-man rotation out there?
I'm very interested to see how they handle that whole thing.
Because I don't trust Odorizzi as far as I can throw him.
Yeah.
So it can't be the Rangers. So, God, love it. It's got to be the freaking Yankees. Damn it. Sorry, Astros fans. Don't come for us.
Yeah, that was one of those. I was like, man, I can't see through rose-colored glasses here. I can't.
Okay. So in the NL, was it a coin toss for y'all? Because it was a coin toss for me, and it was a coin toss between the Braves and the Mets for me. Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. I think the Dodgers have the potential, but too many question marks. I don't trust Gonsolin to stay healthy and repeat what he did. Ultimately, I went with the Mets because Charlie Morton, he's getting older. Soroka I hope he's okay. I hope he's healthy, but he obviously comes with some concerns.
Are they moving him back into the starting rotation? I don't
know. It's possible. Ian Anderson is a question mark. They sent that guy to AAA. They traded Kyle Muller, who I actually liked as the fifth guy. Obviously, they got Sean Murphy, who they just extended as we're talking right now. And I think you had to make that move, obviously. But does Kyle Wright match what he did last year? I think so, but that's a question. I think the Mets with 2 Hall of Famers and then Kodai Senga, who could end up being a frontline guy. I think they bought low on him, and then for the same reasons we were talking about before, their 4 and 5 are some of the more comfortable 4. And if Cookie Carrasco is your worst starting pitcher, you're in great shape. So,
right.
I think the Mets have the best rotation.
All right. I have a tiny child waving at me. Hold on one sec. She's waving at me from the doorway. She's like, I'm going to bed now. I thought you were going to tuck me in. I'm like, I'm very sorry. We're talking baseball. She's like, okay. I love my children. Anyways. Okay. So who do we have? Shelby, did you agree with us on the whole NL?
Yeah, I went with the Mets. I went with the Mets too. I tell you what, I feel pretty good about my picks now. So.
Right. Okay. We didn't corroborate on these. Like we had our own. We picked our own so that we.
Like I said last week.
So what's next?
Shut It Down award for our top closer for the upcoming year. Not this last year because it was very obvious. So mine was Ryan Helsley. Next year, Ryan Helsley is going to be the guy. I freaking love that dude.
What about you, Aram?
I got Class A. I 1.36 ERA last year, which is crazy. It's only 0.05 higher than Edwin Diaz, who had the most ridiculous season ever. And Emmanuel Clase is 24 years old. Like he's still so young.
What is he lefty throwing like 102? Something stupid.
Cutters, 100-mile-an-hour cutters.
That's disgusting.
Class A is I think gonna have an Edwin Diaz type year next year too.
Yeah. So I had So I had to figure out which of these pitchers I was putting in which category. So I had to flip a coin, and Class A was my Shut It Down award. That was my Shut It Down award, and I feel good about it because every time Emmanuel Clase comes in, and I like that he's not only a quote unquote closer, he's pitched 8th and 9th. And so the fact that he can go 2 innings, I think just extends his I don't want to say range, but extends his awesomeness. There we go. the Suzy awesomeness scale, he extends it because he can go 2 innings. That's my reasoning behind that. So, what was next, Shelby?
Now we get into our sleeper picks.
Okay.
Our sleeper starting pitchers for next year.
We got.
Ooh. Okay, so I have 2. One is I think everybody's excited to watch make a comeback. The other one, his projected numbers aren't great. I think Aram's going to appreciate the second one, but I think he might also throat chop me through the screen. But my number 1 is Tyler Glasnow with the Rays. I can't wait to see this guy come back. I'm so excited. I think he's going to be electric when he comes back. Came back at the end of the year. Didn't throw any innings, but came back in the dugout. And then Edward Cabrera. I love this guy.
Yeah, good one.
I love this guy. He's with the Marlins. He had like a 3.01 ERA or something like that.
3.01. Yeah.
3.01 ERA, but he's just got to get his K rate up. Gets his K rate up, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great.
I like that pick. He's like a Sandy Jr. He throws like 90-mile-an-hour changeups. He's got, I think, the best pitching coach in baseball, Mel Stoudemire, working with him, who said that's the most talented guy he's seen since Sandy. So I love that pick. I actually am sticking with the Marlins rotation. I think Jesus Luzardo is going to really build off of last year. He had a good year, 100 innings, but was really good down the stretch. I think he's got some of the best stuff that you're going to find. The lefty, upper 90s, one of the best curveballs you'll find. Command was the question for him. Looked like he found it last year. So that's one of my favorite, one of my favorite breakout guys in terms of the National League. On the American League side, it's a little bit tougher. I have a few different names that I like, but he's already a pretty household name to a degree, but I think he's going to be a legit Cy Young contender, and it's Tristan McKenzie. What Tristan McKenzie did last year was insane. I know he's not a sleeper because he technically was really good last year, but I think he's a sleeper relatively speaking. I really do think this guy at the end of the year will be a top 10 pitcher in baseball. What he did down the stretch was crazy. He looks confident. He looks like he's figured things out. I think he's going to turn himself into a bona fide ace and be right up there with Shane Bieber for them in Cleveland.
So my sleeper starting pitcher is Christian Javier. And again, I'm sorry, I had to go with my my homer pick because I don't think the casuals who don't follow the Astros know who Christian Javier is. They may now know from the World Series, but if you don't follow the Astros, you're gonna be like, who the fuck is Christian Javier? What? So I think Christian Javier is the most slept on starting pitcher ever. And also I had to twist the knife on Peter and his super awesome Christian Javier take. So that's like your Cal Quantrill take, Aram. That's what that is.
I think worse, personally.
So that's my sleeper starting pitcher take, because who can throw 2 combo no hitters? Christian Javier. And I think he figures it out this year, and I think he goes longer, because that's like his only annoyance about him, essentially, is the fact that he just throws so many pitches all the time. Mm-hmm. But that's my pick. And the sleeper why did I lose my train of thought? RP. What is RP? I'm dumb. I'm just gonna say it. It's Felix Bautista from the Orioles. He just has filthy stuff. Like, his strikeout per 9 is like 9.9 or something stupid. And his whip is super low. Let me see. What's his whip? 0.929. It's not even a 1. There's not even a 1 in there. So I think Felix Bautista is the most slept on relief pitcher. There we go. Words are hard. Phrases are hard also. So, my sleeper starting rotation was so hard, Shelby. I think this took me a good like 15 minutes of actual Googling and figuring out teams. I'm like, who's sneaky good, but like not good, but then kind of good. And then I came up with 3.
I'm ready for this. I know you put a lot of thought and effort into this.
I did. So we've already talked about them a lot. So the Orioles were kind of up there with me, the Rays, and then sneakily enough, the Cincinnati Reds. Like, they've got some really good young arms out there, and then like I think the fact that they are so young, and like last year they were still kind of figuring it out, but like Hunter Green is stupid good. Mm-hmm. And like, so their top 3, Green, Lodolo, and Ashcraft, I think are gonna, they've got a season under their belt, and they're gonna be like, I got this, guys. Like, let's go. They're 4 and 5. I was like, so, but their top 3 are sneaky good. Like, I would throw like Hunter Green in on start days for me, and he would just get me all of the points for like strikeouts. I'm like, yes, Hunter Green, good job. So that was my kind of like top 3, and I couldn't really pick. So it's between the Reds, the Orioles, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Sleeper rotations.
I'm in on the Reds. That's my National League pick. I like the Reds a lot. Nick Lodolo is one of my favorite prospects. Hunter Green throws more 100-mile-an-hour pitches than anyone you're going to see. And Ashcraft, I think, like you said, is one of the more underrated players. Throws a like cutter that's similar to Class A. Ironically, he's a really interesting pitcher. And I like some of their prospects that could come in and fill out that rotation as well. I think that's one of the better, sleeper rotations in baseball this coming season. I think the Marlins too. I know everyone, I don't know how much of a sleeper they are, given that they have the Cy Young winner there, but I think 1 through 5 that could be a really, really good rotation.
What about you, Shelby?
I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't do any rotations. I'm just very pumped up for position players.
All right, position players. Go.
All right, first base. So I had 2. Number 1 was a comeback. We talked about him earlier, Vlad Jr. I think Vlad Jr. is going to have a great year. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be an MVP running. And then also somebody I'm going to watch and I'm going to keep my eye on is Andrew Vaughn for the White Sox. So he had 76 RBIs this last year, which was 23rd in the American League, which I would have never thought that Andrew Vaughn would have been even in the top 30 at all. But he's really young. He's great. He came up, I think he was like first-round pick, I believe, right? First-round pick for the White Sox. So,
and they had him in the outfield where he doesn't even play. So right. He's going to move to first and be more comfortable. I love that. I think he's going to have a big year.
So that was my first base picks.
Nice.
What about you, Aram?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Okay. On the offensive side, ironically, I mentioned it earlier. I alluded to it. I think, Vladdy is somebody that I think is just going to go nuclear next year. He just needs to get the ball in the air more, hits the ball on the ground too much. That was really it. And I'm still a Max Muncy believer. I know he had a disastrous year. He's been banged up. He was coming off of a pretty weird injury. Still hit 21 home runs. Still got on base at a good clip. I think he's going to bounce back and have a really, really good season. In a good lineup. I'm a big Max Muncy fan still.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I mean, just because no, I'm just kidding. We're not going to shade the Dodgers on this podcast, on this episode, right? Okay, so I think for my first baseman, I think I'm going to go. I had to do like a coin flip on this one as well. So I think it's going to be Josh Bell. I think that his first half numbers and his second half numbers will maybe match up this season. I think that's what we're going to go with. Like I don't know what happens after All-Star break. But I think maybe he'll be more comfortable, and I think he'll figure it out. So I think maybe his second half and his first half will match. So that's my sleeper pick for first.
All right, so we got second base. Aram, who we got for second base?
Oh, we're doing each position. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so I did Vladdy and I did Muncy. I guess those both count, ironically, for first base. Second base. Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Do we need to order first?
Jazz Chisholm was so
Prince.
good
I love
60 games last year, and then just got hurt and wasn't able to play the rest of the year. He was on pace for an insane season. Was an all-star. I think Jazz can have a big year.
Suzy, who was your second base pick?
My dogs are about to go nuts because my husband's coming home. So just give me a second. You go. I'm going to mute my mic.
I went with Ozzie Albies. So Ozzie was hurt last year. 2021, he was an all-star. I think a healthy Braves team is going to be disgusting. Like, I'm so ready. But switch hitting second baseman, I think he's going to have a big year.
I like Albies. He banged up. He hits way better from the right side. I almost wish he would just scrap the switch hitting. But no, I think he's got a lot to prove again next year. So I think he could be a really good bounce back candidate.
Yeah, especially with the contract, got to do well with the contract.
I think my sleeper pick is going to be Tommy Edman for the Cardinals. And the fact that he plays utility, like a super utility guy, maybe they'll just stick him at second. I don't know. I don't know what the Cardinals are doing over there. Are they going to stick him at short? Are they going to stick him at second? I'm going to go with second. I'm going to stick with Tommy Edman. Maybe because he's half Asian. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right, third base. So third base, I have two. Number one, I'm going to go with Alex Bregman. I think Alex Bregman is underrated, and I think he's going to have a dad year. But guy I'm going to keep my eye on, and probably my number one so far. So I'm a big Texas Tech baseball fan. So I can't wait to watch Josh Jung this year. I cannot wait to watch him. I'm excited. I bought some of his cards actually. So that's going to be a guy that I'm watching. Sleeper for sure.
Can Alex Bregman really be a sleeper pick though, Shelby? I mean, come on now.
But he didn't. I really do think he can be. I think he can be. He put up great second half playoff numbers, but I don't think he lived up to our expectations this last year. I know.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I'm hoping he has a big year this year. There's a lot of distractions this last year. We'll see.
That's fair. That's fair. Who you got, Aram?
Third base, Brian Hayes. I still believe in Hayes. I think he's one of the best defenders in baseball. He hits the ball hard, sits on the ground too much. I think he could be really, really, really good. I'm expecting him to break out next year.
I'm trying to hit unmute on my mic. I'm dumb. Anyways, I have Josh Rojas for the D-backs. Like I said, the D-backs are sneaky good. I think if I'm not watching Astros games, I think I'm watching D-backs games. That. I think that's it. So I have Josh Rojas over there, which funnily enough was came up in the Astros. And then we traded and gave him away. So
all right, shortstop. All right. For I don't know how many years I'm going to be on this pedestal, but I think O'Neal Cruz. I love O'Neal Cruz. I think he's phenomenal. I don't think we saw enough of him this last year. Sleeper pick for sure at shortstop.
Who you got, Aram?
So I would have said Nico Horner. Now he's moving to second. Might have said Jorge Mateo. Now he might not be playing shortstop much. It's a tough position because I feel like a lot of the best players are proven there. Ha-Sung Kim if he gets to play there, but now he's not going to play there because they got Bogarts. Like every one of my sleeper shortstops got booted aside. I'm struggling at this spot overall. Every single shortstop is not a sleeper. But I'll say I think Willy Adames has a better year than he had last year. He hit 31 home runs, but didn't get on base at a very high clip. I think he's going to have a very, very, very good season.
All right, so my sleeper pick for shortstop is going to be Bryson Stott. I think that's got to see him a little bit in the World Series, and I think it's going to be Bryson Stott. Who you got for third?
I like Bryson Stott. I think that's a good pick. I really like Bryson Stott. I don't know.
I just like the fact that he is originally from Vegas. That's
true. Not wrong.
That is. I'm like, that's really why I picked him.
All right, we got outfielders. Suzy, I'll let you go first.
Are we not doing third? Are we done? Are we moving on to outfielders? That's okay.
Not doing third? We did third.
Oh, did we? Oh, we did do third. I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Like I said, that Bloody Mary apparently was very strong. Didn't think it was as strong as it was, apparently. Okay, so my sleeper pick for outfield, this is going to be really funny, but my sleeper pick for outfield is going to be Juan Soto. I think he figures out outfield this year, which is funny to say because everyone's like, Suzy, you're an idiot. Juan Soto is so good. But if you look at his numbers last year, he was not. He was not delightful last year, and he definitely did not deserve Gold Glove right field out there.
Super fun fact, I looked at the sports books today. He's like predicted top to win the MVP, like in the betting odds.
Pretty crazy.
Do they? Okay. I mean, obviously they run all the numbers and they do the things, but obviously they've
Why
not
would
watched.
I not throw that on you right now?
They've not watched Juan Soto games much then, because that's not. I'm sorry, Juan Soto. You did not deserve a Gold Glove out there in right field.
No,
you didn't. No. Not at all in the least bit. Nope. So that's my sleeper pick for outfield is Juan Soto.
Aram, who you got?
Chas McCormick. I don't think he gets enough love. I think he's a great defender. People sleep on the bat. You look at his offensive numbers; they're above average. I think he's going to keep getting better. I think Chas McCormick's an above average big league center fielder. Doesn't get enough love.
Aram, you just guaranteed
you just made Suzy
Astros like fans. They're just going to come flocking to Just Baseball. And they're just gonna have to listen to you. They're just gonna have to. Like, I
love the way Chas plays the game. I'm in on him. I think he's a good center fielder.
We're Chas. I say we. I am a Chas McCormick stan. Shelby's less of a Chas McCormick stan, but he's up there in my heart.
Yeah, Suzy loves Chas. So I have 3 sleeper picks. Okay, I have Jake McCarthy, which I talked about earlier. I think he's going to be great. The other 2 are renowned, but I think they're going to have better years. Number 1 has potential to be the best center fielder in baseball, in my opinion, Byron Buxton. But he has to stay healthy. He can't stay healthy, but he's got to stay healthy.
Do you think he's going to play more than 100 games this year?
I think he's going to play more than 100 games. I hope so. I love Byron Buxton. Like, it literally breaks my heart every year I see him get pulled off the field. And then Cedric Mullins.
I love Cedric Mullins.
Cedric Mullins, low-key, is one of my favorite players in baseball. You know, last year he stole 34 bases.
Cedric Mullins is the best.
Did you know that? 34 bases.
That's amazing.
So those are 2 I'm going to watch. 3 I'm going to watch.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Let's see. What's our next category, Shelby?
That's all I had on my list.
Oh. Did we go through? No, we didn't go through everybody. We didn't do everything, Shelby. What was the last thing that you said? No, we're gonna wait until the end.
World Series prediction.
Way too early World Series predictions. What you got, Shelby? Since you threw it on us, you got to go first.
I'm gonna go the Astros and the Mets.
It's Astros. Okay, so Astros versus Mets.
I think.
Who wins and how many games?
The Mets choked, right? They choked really hard this year, and my hope is that they learn from it. And I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm going to go Astros in 6.
Okay. Aram?
Whew. Okay. Man, this is tough. I'm torn here. I think Astros and Mets seems like the safest bet. I think the Dodgers find a way this year, though. I think they finally get their way back there. I think we get a rerun of Dodgers Astros in the World Series. I think that's one that we could see. I'm looking at the American League. I don't see any team that really, really jumps out as a threat. I think it's going to be Astros Dodgers again, which was a classic.
Okay, so who wins and in how many games, Aram?
I think the Dodgers finally get one. I'm sorry. I think the Dodgers get it in 7.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with, I think it's going to be Astros and Braves. I think we have a repeat of 2021. And I think it's Astros in 7. I think. I hope. I think that's it. So we have Astros in 7. Shelby has Astros in 6, and Aram has Dodgers in 7. Aram, I take it back. All of the Astros fans have now not been on your side. They've taken back their love of the Just Baseball show from the Chaz McCormick. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, World Series loss in 7 games is not too bad.
No, it is. It is. If it was anybody else, we would be okay. But to the Dodgers, come on now, Aram. That's not okay. That's not it. All right. Well, so now that we've been talking for 2 hours, I apologize for taking up this much of your time, Aram.
No worries at all. No worries. No worries.
But,
I think we got every prediction.
Right?
I think we got every prediction possible solidified for 2023. It'll be fun to come back and revisit this in a year and see how wrong we all were. But
sure,
I really appreciate you ladies having me on, especially after the technical difficulties first time around. Appreciate
we'll forgive you.
All of our interactions on Twitter. Looking forward to more of that, and looking forward to potentially doing this again sometime during the season when we revisit how we did. But thank you so much for having me on. Hope you had a great holiday and Happy New Year. Happy
New Year to you too, Aram. Tell the listeners where they can find you.
Yeah, it's a Just Baseball show. You can also check out the Call Up podcast if you love the prospect stuff. Our Twitter at JustBB_media. I think we had to change it after some copyright issues for posting highlights to spread the game. And subscribe to us on YouTube as well at Just Baseball Fans over there. Also on TikTok at Just Baseball Fans. And check out the website, justbaseball.com. But thank you so much again, and I hope everybody has an awesome new year.
Perfect. I will put all of the links to all of the Twitter handles and social medias and the websites all in the show notes, so that if you guys enjoyed RM of the Just Baseball show and the Call Up, you can go visit him and his cohorts over there. You also have a new podcast coming up too, right, RM?
Yeah, with minor league baseball player Taylor Davis. He is hosting it with Jack, which is awesome. They get a lot of players on. Already had Alec Mills. Going to have Dylan Cease. Going to have Adley Rutschman. I think Gunner's going to be on there. So loaded guest list. Really excited about that. It's going to be called the Show and Go podcast. Should be out in the next week. So keep your eyes out for that one.
Very cool. And if Jack does not recreate Adley's workout on the snow, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. That's all I'm going to say about that. So
I'll try my best.
Yeah. So pass on the message. But very, very cool, Aram. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking the time out. I know you're very busy man. So I will put all of the links to all of the places that they can find you in the show notes. And with that, we are going to say goodnight. So rate, review, like, subscribe, do all of the fun things for not the Just Baseball Show. You can do that for the Just Baseball Show too, but we really want you to do that for the Bourbon and Baseball podcast, of which Shelby and I are the hosts. That's what we want you to do, right, Shelby?